bem, Cahillo? Muito bem. Boa search today. Today, we will be sending the top 7 teams directly to the grand finals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, Day 3 of the Gauntlet. I have Revo here with me. Revo, you guys are currently 9 points ahead of 8th place. After 2 days finished from the Gauntlet, what have you guys learned to make sure you maintain yourself within the top 7?
I think we learned a lot. We made a lot of mistakes on day 1 and on day 2. But it's everything fixed now, and we are ready for day 3, and we're going to qualify.
A lot of people in Brazil are hoping that you're going to qualify, not just Brazil, Americas in general. Out of all these teams here, do you have a rivalry with any of the squads?
I think all the teams are some rival. All the teams here are too good, but we know the first rival is us, ourselves. But we are ready to do whatever it takes to go to the grand finals.
Okay, well, hopefully that will be the case. Obrigado, mano, because ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, that squad is just barely ahead when we're talking about the top 7 in the 8th place. I mean, all those squads are just so tight together, but this squad that I'm going to be going in front of, behind of now, APG, they are a bunch of points behind 7th place. I have Seal here with me. Seal, Day 1, you guys didn't end up winning your hot drops. Yesterday, day 2, it seems like you guys adjusted. Going into day 3, what are you expecting? And do you want to send out a message maybe to OG with that hot drop you guys have been having in Chumacera?
За, зөв танабагийн хувьд эхний өдрөө ерөөсөө буултан дээрээ аваргалж гарч иж чадаагүй ч гэсэн хоёр дахь өдөр зөгцөн наашаа гарч ирээд арай дээр тоглолт үзүүлж чадсан. Өнөөдрийн хувьд танабагийн төсөөлч нь юу байна? Тэгээд магадгүй OG багт хандж хэлэх үг.
За өнөөдрийн хувьд гэвэл миний хувьд бол бодсон юм алга маань ажил мэдж байгаах. Тэгээд өвжигийн хувьд гэвэл байлдвал байлдээ бид бэлэн.
For me today, I don't have any thoughts or nervousness at all. I'm just gonna play as how I usually do. And towards OG, if you guys want to fight, we're always welcome for you.
Expected, by the way. No nervousness from a previous champion of Pmgc and MVP as well. And you know what? Talking about champions, talking about MVPs, we got to talk about Regnum Karya, ladies and gentlemen, because this squad is also not in the top 7. They're just 8 points behind top 7. The main thing, though, is performances have been there. Consistency just hasn't been quite there for you guys. What are you looking to do to make sure you get a consistent style here for the next 6 games to make it to the top 7?
Takımda oynarken artık iyi anlarınız oldu ama maçlarda biraz dengeyi tutturamadınız. Bu dengeyi tutturmak için neyi değiştirirsiniz?
Açıkçası bizim oynadığımız oyun tarzı 4 kişinin hayatta kaldığı bir oyun tarzı ve bu oyun tarzını yaparken basit hatalarla oyuncu kaybettiğimizde oyunun devamlılığını getiremiyoruz. Bugün bu hataları yapmayacağız, daha dikkatli oynayacağız, odaklanacağız ve tam gücümüzü göstereceğiz.
So our gameplay is based on our 4 players staying alive, but with few small mistakes that we lose our players. So we try to more focus and try to don't do that mistake, and we will show our power this day.
With 8 points, with how tight everything is, you cannot allow yourself to have any mistakes because, ladies and gentlemen, this is day 3 of the Gauntlet.
That's right. The time for mistakes is over. The time to perform is now. The final day of the Gauntlet. We are here. I'm Hot Jukes here with Maxman and Neptura. Guys, if you've missed the first 2 days, I'll tell you what, it has been absolutely crazy, Maxman. How are you feeling going into the final day?
I'm feeling bloody spectacular, Hot Jukes. No, I'm genuinely so bloody excited here to get into this 3rd day of the Gauntlet. Top 7 will be going into the grand finals. They can skip the Group stage, skip the entirety of the last chance. So again, you cannot afford to fail here today. If you're still not in the top 7, you got to go super hard today to make sure you can qualify directly to the biggest stage here of 2025.
Yeah, for the folks that don't make it to that top 7 today, Neptura, right, they're going to go ahead and go to the group stage. Maybe that's why Alpha Gaming is like, you know what? We're not too nervous. We're just going to have fun with it because maybe we'll perform then. But I think that's kind of hard to say because I think we're pretty surprised with just how far behind they are here into the final day of this gauntlet.
I mean, I don't think anybody expected for them to be exactly where they are right now. Are they going to be able to come back? I mean, Zul certainly seemed confident in that interview, right, Jukes? I mean, we're looking at them maybe going, hey, third day, nothing to lose, let's just go for it. Maybe they just wanted to take all pressure off themselves, but I feel like as a world-round team, come on, guys, we can do better than that. But you know what? No use crying over spilt milk. We're back. Let's try again. Day 3. Let's go.
Yeah,
I believe.
I mean, technically, they're only 29 points away from being in a top 7 position, right? So 29 points, especially when you're starting your day off with a Rondo game here, definitely a lot of potential for them to come back. But APG prank, can we stop it, please? Please, IPG, step up. What's going on? 15th place, Hot Jukes. It's so weird to see them down there. Really,
it's crazy. All right, there's gonna say something right now that I thought I was never gonna say, right? And that is how crazy Kara performed, right? So much, as a matter of fact, that in just the amount of eliminations that they had yesterday, that more than doubled the performance of what Alpha Gaming has done in the first 2 days, right? So an absolute crazy performance. They ended up getting 85 points in total, Neptura, right? That is so far the best performance we have seen, right? Thunder Talk on day 1 had 77 points, right? So for Kara to clutch it up so big, I mean, just how impactful was that performance?
It's great. I love seeing that from them. It was so nice. Because they went back to the old strat. I keep saying this. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. Okay? This team thought they could switch it up. They thought they, like, hey, let's do something different. It's Pmgc. It didn't work. They immediately went back and went, actually, no. We had it right the first time. Let's do it. And as you can see here in this recap, they just went to town on all these teams. And frankly, the other teams could do nothing about it. So I'm not surprised we see as much of a point jump as we saw from them.
Maybe they realized, actually, we were quite good before. How about we just do it again?
We go back, yeah.
And you know what? It actually works in Pmgc. Really happy with it. But no, Kara have been doing absolutely amazing stuff here in these matches. You can look at like some of their replays in these matches, of course, getting a back-to-back chicken dinner. Not only then, of course, Thunder Talk did do the same as they ended day 1 with a win, started off day 2 with a win, but respectively, here Kara have stepped up. And it's so intriguing in particular to see them outperform their Turkish brethren, right? In particular, Regnum Kara, that so far has struggled to do anything. And Kara Konya are the big dogs of this massive region that is Turkey in PUBG Mobile Esport.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to kind of see, like, how they're playing differently and how that's working out for them. But I'm a little bit hopeful, I think, for Regnum, because they did have that big win closing off day 2, that we are going to see them jump up now. Same thing with DRX, right? They got the win, then they went all in, and they're probably going to qualify now. But we see the overall rankings here, and it's looking so close. I mean, 75-76 between A7 and Dick Xavier. VP and Wolves 1 point away from qualification for Wolves. So I think we're looking at a very cool day here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you what, we're looking right now at the top because of just how well they perform. Big ups to them. Kara's with performance has been so good that we got to hear from them, right? So, Seven, if you could do us a big favor, get us a nice little interview with Kara and see what they have to say going into today.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time I'm joined by Poster from Kara Esports. This team had an outstanding performance in day 2, getting 85 points, and then you had CEO securing that MVP. What was the major shift you were able to do from day 1 to day 2, whether it was mentally or tactically?
Şimdi birinci günden ve ikinci günden neyi değiştiniz? Mental olarak veya oyun tarzı olarak?
Mental olarak bir şey değiştirmedik. Mentalimiz zaten yerindeydi. Potansiyelimizi biliyorduk. Sadece birazcık özgüvenimizin yerine gelmesine ihtiyacımız vardı. O ilk Erancıl maçından sonra da yerine geldi ve lobiye neler yapabileceğimizi biraz olsun gösterdik.
Well, we didn't touch that much. We know that we had the mentality for it, but after we got the first the points from the Angel match, we got our confidence back that we show our performance to all the players.
Oh, okay. And just one quick last one. With that performance that you had, now with that confidence, is there any team out here that you want to send a message to?
Bu özgüvenle bu turnuvadaki hangi takıma bir şey demek istersin?
Sadece bir takıma değil hepsine söylemek istiyorum. Biz kupayı almaya geldik. Onun için de savaşıyoruz. Herkes ayağını denk alsın.
So it's just not for one team, for all of the team that we will came here to get the trophy. So I want everybody to be prepared for it.
I like that confidence. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you because I'm hyped.
Woo! I'll tell you what, man. Seeing right now, Kara, right? Just to give you an example of just how crazy their performance was. Day 1, 7 placement points. Day 2, 20 elimination points. On day 2, they more than tripled the amount of placement points they had and tripled the amount of eliminations as well, Max, man. So you heard it from them, right? They put in the whole lobby on notice. And do you think they can replicate what they did yesterday?
I really believe they can do it again here because, again, they said during that interview they built more confidence after the initial win they had versus the likes of, well, it wasn't really a win. They did get himself just so many eliminations. It felt like a chicken dinner versus the likes of R8 and then, of course, DRX in that Erangel game. So it's really good to see that momentum built. Is that going to transfer into today? I definitely do hope so because right now, looking at this head-to-head, Niptura, they are currently matching the results of Thundertalk Gaming without 2 wins extra, by the way. 1 win went to Kara, 3 over to Thundertalk, and yet despite not getting those 3 wins, they still have 78 eliminations, out-fragging the #1 squad in this lobby. This is absolute madness from Kara. Again, this is a massive Cinderella story so far, and I really hope it's going to continue in day 3.
Oh, me too. It would be so nice to see and give everybody, I think, some really great storylines to look forward to coming into finals as well, right? Because obviously they are going to qualify. We will be seeing them go directly to finals. So I think it's going to be really cool, and it just goes to show you the strength that can come from controlling a zone, farming points around the edge, just making sure teams can't play their own game. It's such a fun way to play, and it gets those results as well.
There you go. Well, you know what? I do agree. I think that they have pretty much locked their position, right? Going all the way into the grand finals, but we still got a lot of slots that are still available. So now I want to shift our focus to that lower side of the leaderboards, right? Because we need to see some crazy performances like we saw yesterday from Kara, right? One team in particular, right? We heard from Revel right there. Alpha 7 did not have the performance they were looking for day 1 and day 2, Max, right? So what do you think they need to adjust here, especially going into Rondo, where they could have another big hot drop with R8?
Oh, I mean, actually, I forgot about the Rondo hot drop. You're right. That was such an issue. I was going to go on straight into the angles at Miramar, but no, actually, Rondo is a big issue. And they've never been able to do really great in terms of eliminations because, sure, I think day 1 they got, a 2nd place with 3 elims. But Rondo, Hot Jukes, it's all about the eliminations because you have the recall system. You need to capitalize. You need to catch up. And they have 76 points generally here, Hot Jukes. If they get a good Rondo right out of the gates, chances are they could already secure their top 7 slot. But Alpha 7, on Rondo, it's been a tough one.
Yeah, you know what? They actually ended up beating R8 out on the 2nd day, right? For the early one, Neptura, right? The question is, right, with how many eliminations they need to do, I mean, I think they have to take that risk, right? Once again, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. You especially going into Rondo, you can't be passive on a Rondo. You got to take that hot drop if it's coming your way. You need to get as many points as possible. You need to build that momentum. Rondo 100% is the map to do that, and it sets the tone for the rest of the map, the rest of the games rather. So it really is so important, I think, for them to take this hot drop in particular.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at also teams still in top 7 that have been falling. Virtus Pro. Stellar first day. Chickened in on the first match on Rondo, right? Getting himself 11 eliminations. And ever since then, Hot Jukes, to be honest, they disappeared. We have not seen any strong presence from Virtus Pro, despite them dominating back in the CSA region, one of the toughest regions to perform into when it comes to regional PMSLs. So Virtus Pro, if they keep slipping, they just might not even be in top 7 after this next Rondo game. So Virtus Pro, I need to see more presence because as of right now, nothing of value happened for them on this 2nd day.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, we got DRX right there, only 3 points away from 7th place. We know they're going to perform here at Neptura, right? Who else on the leaderboard do you want to see get a chicken dinner right here in Rondo?
I think Regnum have a great chance of doing that. Orangutan as well. Both of those teams definitely need to have a really good first game, and I think Rondo's going to be the perfect one for them.
Well, you know what? You said those two names, and I got to agree with you. I got to go with the Wolves. It's time they step up. They had a rough day number 2. Can they clutch it up here in the final day? That is what I hope to see, Max, man. Who do you think can get this last chicken dinner?
I mean, first.
First
I was like, wait,
that's right.
The day went by already? Wait, I missed everything. No. I still want to say Ulf, but you know what? I'm going to give up on Ulf. I'm sorry. For me, they had time to adapt and bring up their top tier gameplay that we know they can do, but they're just hyper passive. A win is just not in the cards for me when it comes to Ulf. I'm going to go on the bottom teams that are going to get a bit desperate. I'm going to go E-Arena. I mean, they have Mormon, a very experienced player here. They're currently in 14th position, 45 points. Definitely can reach top 7 if they have a good game. Again, I know I said Rondo a lot here, that it's very important, but it really is in terms of how many potential elims you can get in a good game. I want E-Arena Hot Jukes here. For me, this is the team that, again, for SCA might have one of the highest chances alongside D Xavier to represent the region in the finals. We need to see more from this squad.
Okay, all right. I think E-Arena definitely need to pop off, right? Them, pretty much, you know, Alpha Gaming, Ulf. I think if they want to make it into that top 7, yeah, it's chicken dinner time right here, right now, Neptura. So since we got a little bit of extra time, right, to talk about some stuff before we get into the first match, I kind of want to talk about something that we were talking about in the pre-show, right, before this whole thing started. That was when it comes to Rondo strategies, okay? We've noticed, right, a lot of teams are doing this 3-1 split, right? They're sending 3 players out to engage on another team and sending 1 to a recall tower to kind of hold that position just in case that team fails that push, okay? What do you think about some of the squads in this time trying to take advantage of that and pushing as a 4-man?
I mean, normally I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe that's an interesting strat. You take them by surprise a little bit. I think it would only work if they're not expecting a hot drop. But usually if you're doing the 3-1 split, you are expecting a hot drop. I don't know how much I like it when it's the last day, when so much is riding on you guys doing well. I think maybe for Rondo, where there's so much potential to zone for the rest of the day, I think that might be a little bit too risky for my taste.
What do you think, Max?
I'm thinking we're going to see something very particular coming out here, which is because you have Rondo recall, I think you're going to see teams hot dropping heavily here. This is my speculation. I'm looking at APG in particular, right? They're Yulin. Normally they drop as a 4-man. And no, Orangutan would not be a good idea. But I'm looking at teams that are currently comfortable at the top. You send 3 players and you just try and ruin it for them. And if you're lucky, you win that 3v4. Otherwise, you get maybe a few points. They get a few points. Even Steven, nothing really comes out of it. And you don't take a major risk by fighting and hot dropping in the 3-1 on a full squad. So I would like to see APG get targeted. And I say that like I'm not saying in a way I don't want APG to qualify. I would like to see them in the finals. But they are a threat. We know that. This is one of the best teams out there, usually. Not right now, but usually they are. If you want to try and get rid of them early and force them in the group stage and last chance, that we know as a fact Neptura is going to be way harder to qualify through for the finals.
Yeah.
Maybe this is your time to wound APG early on in day 3.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, that could be a strategy for sure, especially if, you know, you are a team that has a similar playstyle to APG. Maybe your rotations cross the same sort of paths. You know, you fear them in a way of just kind of ruining your gameplay day in, day out. Maybe your wrangle strategy is very similar, something like that. I could see that being probably a good thing to do, just in case, right? Just in case you do go to finals and they are there, or you go to the next stage and they're also there, and it's like, oh, okay, hang on, we're now going home because of them.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get this first match going, guys. It's the final day of the Gauntlet. We're heading into Rondo. Hot drop action is going to be at the absolute maximum. Let's go ahead and take it on over to John Allen and Blake to get us started here.
All right, we're going into Rondo once more for another round here. Match 13, kicking off the final day of the Gauntlet. It is, as Hot Duke said, going to be messy. That's what we're expecting here. The hot drops have not been favorable for quite a few teams, but We've seen some big earners. Maybe it's time to make your move on the tables here and now, Blank. Maybe you can bid for freedom towards the finals directly.
I think dropping over towards APG, personally, I don't think it's the greatest idea. I think they're a team with nothing to lose right now and everything to gain. So I think dropping on that team is a little bit risky. I think if you are secured, though, like Max says, like Thunder Talk, they could easily drop over towards APG and try and take out some of their players. And from there, you suddenly get a big lead. But again, this is the thing I was concerned about, is that I don't think APG is going to be dropping together at all. I think they'll be dropping spread across the map, which they already are. One player heading down towards the south side. You got a couple players over towards Meiran, around 2 of the players from Thunder Talk. This is what Thunder Talk did yesterday as well. They went for a 2-2 split. It didn't quite work out for them there because the circle didn't head up this way, but it does give them a ton of pressure on this side of the map. But already things are cracking on here in day 3 as we get our first knock of the tournament.
Yeah, Thunder Talk do have that hot drop. That is interesting, especially around that test track as well. We've got, looks like 3 or 4 teams maybe trying to find some points. I'm looking at the off angles as well coming on through. Arena, who are in this fight, actually have Mormon down all the way south by Tin Long Garden. Really very far away. That's about 4 kilometers away from this one, maybe 3. I haven't quite got my ruler out just yet. Oh, that's unfortunate on the elimination feed there. Over towards that Meiran fight, but there's so much popping off right now. Let's tune in with Coops on Wolves, who is one of these teams around the test track area, around that Neox factory. You've got that northwest point for Regnum Kaya as well. You can see Zed Wolf on that mini map. So for potential for 3 teams to get stuck in here.
I do enjoy that Singh got so scared of APG that he panicked and ran himself over. You don't see that every day. Still shows that APG's got somewhat of a commanding presence. Eagles attempts to move up, takes a heavy lick of damage though, and at this early stage of the game, not like to get too healed up too quickly. 10k though, very low. Similarly, does not have any meds on board, but quite a lot of nades here coming through for the Wolves at only 2 minutes into the match. E-Arena, I think that there was a lot of talk about how this team is incredibly strong, very frightening team to go up against over in SEA, but here in the Gauntlet, they just really have not been displaying all that much for us. Now, this is a big lineup for the Wolves. 10k cannot find the initial shot.
But NC2 can on the cross, playing off his teammate. 10k goes down low on the flip side as Baton able to connect. Another spray forces him out wide, and now Regnum Kaya are going to have that third-party angle, but they're not even going to need to because Doran's there with the M249. That is 2 players down, but they've got those recalls down on the south side, so Arena will ride again. In the meantime, Orangutan have got Kara and R8 on their doorstep. Blank, it looks like Orangutan have managed to find an elimination so far, and they get the res onto AKOP.
The difficulty here, though, is that it's 4 players basically on the same spot, because already one went down. So for OG, if this is a full squad wipe, then it is done for. Luckily, Atanki has a slick off angle on the side. Will take down Ida. And now OG get 2 points on the game already, which they desperately needed from yesterday, dropping down quite a bit. That's a nice start for them. But they are up against Marth, who is a pretty mean fella. He's all on his lonesome.
I mean, he's on his own right now, but this is what I was saying. CEO just lines him up and knocks him down like a bowling ball to Skittles. They fly and they're immediately flushed away. Orangutan do have an outpost in Aru for those recalls, so they will be able to get those recalls in. But it's up to now a 2v2, or rather a 1v1 for Orangutan and R8 on the inside here. They're off angles, looking to get those recalls going. Kara, they sidle on into the fight and they show that terrifying presence that we've seen from them yesterday.
Well, the tanky goes down. Prestige already sending away for R8 to get the res beacon off. But I thought there was only 3 players there for OG. It's showing us 3 on the leaderboard, but okay.
I was really low HP on one of the health bars. It always gets me too. But yeah, they're not going to be there anymore. They do get the recalls, and actually not too far away, so there's potential to re-engage if they want. I would caution against that. I don't think you want to get back into this fight. Doc's here as well, by the way, for APG.
Yeah. Actually, for APG, it's a super tactical maneuver, which is to basically commit Sudoku over on that building. but in all realness, it does immediately get them res into Yulin. I think they'd rather go down as quick as possible so they get the immediate res beacon over towards where Top's playing right now, so they can fend off versus VP, and it works out. So yeah, I mean, I think that is just Reefus, to be honest with you.
What is going on? Top and Ziola there too.
Yeah.
I think they might have just dropped out. Goodness me. Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
Pro.
I mean, they immediately died, right? And then got rezzed on top of. So this is why I think it was somewhat tactical. It looked terrible. But it was somewhat tactical because I think Top needed help immediately. So he just gets the boys in with the parachutes, and they're able to take down VP. So yeah, it's a little bit tight, but they make it work.
Lemon putting a sour taste in Jafar's mouth there with a little shot down on the position. But again, these recall beacons just so game changing. And it's really what's allowing things to happen here. The benefit for the teams who have already moved is that everybody else is busy fighting, earning a couple points, and central positions are up for grabs. It's Stadium with Ulf and Thunder Talk as well, who moved very early on from Mayran.
And for the Wolves, like, let's be real right now, 70 points is pretty good. I mean, they have been stutter stepping throughout this Gauntlet stage in terms of the points gain, but they are on 70. I think they're keeping up. And as a North American team, again, there's not been much pride in the North America scene in the international format in a while, but I think you could be very proud of these guys right now if you're a North American fan. 70 points is great. Obviously, you also have Alpha 7 at 79, but I think that Alpha 7 is sort of a given, right? And I think it's nice to see another candidate here.
A little pick up on Takara.
From Americas, at least, for Alpha 7.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's... everybody else sort of lives in Brazil's shadow when it comes to the Americas region.
Yeah, exactly.
Still. So, yeah, I think that's fair to say. I was crunching some numbers before the broadcast, and I took a look at several of the regions that played an 18-match set on this same map rotation, which includes Rondo, crucially. And in general, 7th place averaged out to just over 113 points blank. So that's really where we're looking at in terms of where we're thinking that bubble will be. We had around 110 before, and that seems to back that up. So we'll see just where these teams are going to end up. Anything over 120, you're looking fairly solid. But that's going to be pretty tricky actually today to make that up from a 70. So maybe we'll see that go a little bit lower.
Ulf taking down Sighting. So the big hitter on the team down for Thunder Talk. Kara gets a recall off. And then Mr. Wallace, they're down towards the south side. OG consistently rotating west away from one of the players from Kara. Marso keeps trying to get ahead of them to take shots, but they keep heading west. More concerned with getting in the circle here at this point in time. Circle moves it towards the northwest side. So this is the first time we've really seen this portion of the map in quite a while here for Rondo. A bit of a different playstyle for some of our teams.
These recalls still coming through thick and fast. Only one player down, and that is Sighting, who we saw just get eliminated. King wants to pull him back up because he's all the way away. Not in this fight at all. It's all up to AJ and Xing if they want to try and find some revenge here. And Scarface nearly goes down to the nade on the corner. AJ with another pop at it. Scarface relocates to the left corner here. And now plays back around the door frames. Third parties potential as Alpha 7 come on in from that north side. Look at Revo. Look at what he could do to Thunder Talk here if they don't make a move now. AJ knows about it, and this is go time. He's immediately breaking out, and he's being picked up. That's what I was worried about. For Alpha 7 to come on through. Tries to steal the point away for Scarface, but he's putting himself in the firing line of Alpha 7 as well as they sidle on in yet again, trying to make their presence felt on this fight. Scarface, Molotov on the door. That's going to force the fight to slow just a little bit, but no,
nice.
It was good. And it's into the sightlines.
Yeah, very, very good pickup there. I mean, a little bit of prediction gameplay going on from Scarface in terms of the run out, so good understanding of the map as well. And now he gets to look over towards Regnum Kai. Is currently playing alongside with Ulf on this scenic view, the mountainside. Mad Bull's playing this game really quite slowly, though, on the northeast. Still waiting to make their move. And Kara continues to harass over towards OG. It's not really working out for either team on this one. I think OG just wants to disengage from this, but Kara is really not giving up at all. It's only 2 of their players. I think that both the players down towards the southeast side are just waiting for the recall beacon to come through. I don't know why Kara, as a 2-man, is chasing down the 4-man squad from OG. It's very interesting.
I mean, they've got the recalls coming through, so see if they can keep this one going down. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out for them. Kara, they've spotted 1, they've spotted 2. Uh-oh, CEO. I mean, he did them dirty earlier. It looks like they want to do it again here. You said you wondered why they were chasing them down. Maybe they smelt blood in the water. And those flushes come through thick and fast. CEO going to be able to pick up the loot. Still, the recall beacons are here, though, Blank. And it's still possible for Orangutan to get their team back up. But it's a bit of a mission now. The recall beacon's much less accessible as the zones start to shrink. We're into stage 2, so they can break out to a blue zone recall. I think that's what WizGod's going for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bold play from Kara. And I think OG just didn't understand that it was just 2 players. And then consistently moving away from them. Again, I think for Kara, fair enough. You're really feeling it off of yesterday. So you're just happy to take the 2v4. But the fact there's no turnaround was a bit odd, in my opinion.
Yeah, well.
Either way, OG's... Yeah, I mean, they get themselves back up to speed and they're moving back through the circle again, over towards that north side. It's not terrible. They get to the backside of Jiao as well, so there is possibility to move through here undetected and survive towards the late game.
The circle moves a little bit closer to that north side of Jiao that you were talking about. Orangutan being currently the only occupants of that stadium concourse. The road up to the stadium is also a major feature, Blank. The buildings that overlook it, really, really important. Very difficult to maneuver, I think, with Regnum Kaya's position. For the Wolves right now, I'm looking at the middle of the map. Regnum Kaya hold the buildings to the south of that concourse, of that main strip down to the stadium. And the Wolves currently sit on that road. And that is going to be pretty difficult to maneuver, but they're safe for the time being.
7 on the northwest edge. I actually quite like this spot from them. They get to control a lot of area down towards the south side. A lot of open ground, a lot of good sight lines for them. Equally, moving across from that east side is a little bit difficult versus Alpha 7. So it's not a terrible spot. Obviously, it's not direct center in the circle, but it's a possibility to play off the back of this one and get some presence on the northwest side. 2 shots from Levi's over towards Virtus Pro. I don't think he realizes that there is a whole assault squad coming through with the MG3, no less, on Aragon.
Spray downs for Natey, not going to connect for another. Virtus Pro able to get some points earned as they trek on into the west side of the blue zone. Although they have had their fair share of strife. The recall beacon starting to become a little bit further from available. Paragin has to stand up against the entirety of R8, but they want to run him down, and they're not going to waste any time. Paragin is out for DX Xavier. That's going to leave them on 1 player alive. That's Lambor, completely separate from this fight. He's nowhere to be seen, and the recall beacon's definitely not going to be possible for him, surely.
I think for DX Xavier, they do get a recall.
Found it. Oh, they found it. He's on top of one.
Yeah. He's good to go. Aragon looking to hold his own versus R8 right now and doing not a terrible job of it, but Amori moves around the side. We'll get a quick finish on 1 player. Now Voston as well as Malloy move up, but Prestige immediately backs up the team. Marth is down, so this is a bit of a test for the rest of the players here as the blue continues to envelop.
Test passed, flying colors there. Virtus Pro cannot find the opening, and they will go down. Our first full squad wipe comes through. Virtus Pro no longer playing. APG, in the meantime, up against Regnum Kaya. A knock seen towards APG. They're all bunched up in and amongst those crates. You can see a lot of knocks sent their way, and Zedwolf has brilliant angle, but Zjol, a huge nade over towards Regnum Kaya. 2 of them immediately go down. A rescue mission necessary now. Silas and Zedwolf need to have their teammates' backs, and Zjol gets across a sliver of HP. Healing can be done, and Wild and Loxy are not long for it. That allowed crossing has meant that Regnum Kaya cut in half. A big opener for Zjol.
I mean, this is what allows APG to make these sort of plays, and I think that the best way to describe it is being quite disrespectful to a lot of angles, to a lot of teams. I mean, making that cross there is most of the time a death sentence, right? So the fact that he even goes for that is a bit wild. But I think APG, more than anyone right now, understands they need massive games. And they're already up to 7 eliminations. They can push this further from the position they're in. But I think at this point in time, you're probably more concerned with keeping players alive now. And I think that at 7 elims now, you can sort of slow the game down a little bit, get maybe 3 or 6 more elims on the game, and that's great. You know, that's going to put you in a position for the rest of the day to catch up. I said at the end of yesterday that APG needed a massive game on Rondo for me to even consider them having a chance getting into the top 7.
Yeah, it is a very, very treacherous road for them. Thunder Talk, we talked about it yesterday, right? They did so much on day 1. They were able to keep things going on day 2 with, again, a solid performance, but not as bombastic. That limelight was stolen by Kara. But Thunder Talk up to 120 points. It's very likely that they're going to be okay here on the bubble. It's pretty unthinkable that they would drop down low enough, fast enough, or rather the other teams around them. Hang on a minute. Tune back in with this fight. APG and Orangutan on multiple fronts here. Doc having a crack at it. Oh dear, that's not gone well for Orangutan. Both of their 1v1s do fall by the wayside. Now Kara, they're still ever present in these engagements. Move up, Opposer wants to find Doc, not landing the spray. All right.
Oh my god, this guy's the Matrix, man. I swear, it's Neo. Moves on side, he's still taking shots, gets a good chunk over towards Poser, and he is peeking up and down, left and right. A nade finally does the trick. Marceau from the sidelines will put the final nail in the coffin there for Doc. Another nade through over towards Top as Top consistently tries to nade out a Tanky.
Last player for OG, and another nade connects. He's still got more. He's very, very focused on this one. I think Kara have smelt something there. They know, why aren't they nading us? What's going on? Must be a guy in that corner house, but CEO doesn't mind. He'll take a point. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Again, Kara just racking up these elims. 8 already blank. They are level now with Thunder Talk.
Yeah, I mean, for Kara, they should have that info. And you are absolutely right there that for Kara, they should assume that if they're nading that building, there's got to be a player inside of it. So Marceau is quick on the uptake, will send a nade across himself. He gets a little bit of chip damage. It's really good. Yeah, now he reveals a player's inside that building, and Kara can focus on removing him. Considering he's on the north side as well, it's a good idea to get him out of the picture quickly. There's E-Arena, though, getting far into this game. I mean, Max might want to see a chicken dinner out of these guys. It's going to be a little bit difficult. I think I'm more focused over towards Wolves right now on the south end of the stadium. This could be a fantastic game for them to solidify a position up towards the top of the tables in that top 7.
Absolutely. It would be brilliant to be able to jump on up there. As you say, 7th place bubble right now is a dead heat. It is the tiebreaker that decides it, and Virtus Pro at the moment are winning it. Those placements are going to come through. Mad Bulls, though, pushing into the north side over the Wolves. That is going to be a big challenge over on that area. Those buildings about to get hot over on the east side. Burning out with the Molotov, though. Alpha 7's making it plenty hot for GK.
I mean, Geeke is struggling massively. A Tanky actually takes shots and will pick up 1 elim over towards Paragin. Just great news for the point score total for OG. You know, grab those points where you absolutely can. Alpha 7 up to 4 elims now, just making some mad sprays through the smokes as Geeke groups up together. Tries to provide that healing, a real medic station on this side of things, but Guizao wants to send in the nade.
Looks go long, but it does get the re-knock onto Kevin. Now just the one player for Alpha 7 to roll down, and he goes straight through the smoke. Blind as a bat, but on with the senses. Hearing with echolocation on that one. Able to run them through. Alpha 7 pick up a squad wipe. And another team goes down. Ooh, Tanky just diverts in time for the nade to not connect. I wonder if Kara spotted that run out. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I think they... Well, it's Ulf actually who sees it. That will be OG going down here in 9th. Quite a few teams underneath them as well looking to chase. You got Ulf, GS, E-Arena, Regnum Kaya, but they're only on 2 players. They had a fairly strong position, but Ulf was able to pretty much dismount them off that earlier on. That and the fact that APG took down 2 of their players with, like I said, very disrespectful play from them. But I think that APG is one of the teams that actually gets away with that type of thing more often than not.
Bulls moving in on the north side. 2 players have gone down. The Wolves, they've been here for a while. You can't just move in and expect to take a building from them. No way, no how, but they still have to deal with Flip, who's doing a lot against them. Will find nearly 2. Doran goes very, very low, but can't quite get the rest of the distance. No more recall beacons as well. They have been shut off a little bit earlier. That's brilliant for the Wolves to stay as 4, and now they're up to 7 elims.
Yeah, I think for Wolves that was a big test, right? Versus Mad Bulls, and it's gone very well. They tried to assault the building, sure, so they had the defender's advantage, but still, I think for Wolves, that's a very, very nice thing to see. And again, I think for a team like Wolves, who maybe worries about their performance, and I think particularly those types of teams from North America do get a little bit stressed at the start of the day. Getting that motivation, getting that clear vision at the beginning of things as you head into those final 6 matches is actually a massive positive marker for them. And I think for Wolves, this could be a huge deal getting in towards the top 7.
Absolutely. They are champing at the bit for that opportunity. A direct qualification spot would be monumental for well, to be honest, it's the least North American team that exists, and they are doing the best.
Stop!
But
no, stop it now.
You know, it's fine. It's fine.
Look, the flag is North American.
That is true. That is true. That's undeniable. Silas seems to be pretty undeniable on his hold here, but Marceau's going to give it a good go. Stepped up. Yeah, okay. Put the pin back in the nade. Silas, what are you doing? There's a man in your face, and you're preoccupied with getting a flush. I don't know what that was about. He needs to pull himself together because Zed Wolf now has to bear the brunt of it. And he's alone atop the mountain here, trying to play up against Kara on his own.
The Wolf sends the Molotov down, tries to burn out a player underneath him. Right now, things are getting hairy. I think that, you know, Ulf, high ground, these two things go hand in hand a lot of times. So I think for Ulf, particularly in a rondo like this, I would probably predict them getting the chicken dinner off this game, if I'm quite honest. I really do like their prospects, and they've shown in the past they can make this work as well. It does feel like a lot of specific things have to line up for Ulf, though. In the meantime, we have these nades barreling towards Kara, creating small craters in the ground as GS attempt to assault this position. They're desperate to get out of the blue here, John.
Zed Wolf, solo hold against Kara. He's got that immediate smoke pop, got the shotgun around the corner, but can't quite land it. Steps a little bit funny on the rock, twists an ankle, can't connect. Second chance maybe, but now there's 2 of them, and there's the backlines to deal with as well. Zed Wolf sent dizzy there as Kara mount to the summit of the hill and look to try and challenge Ulf across the way.
In first place now with 123 points. You thought Kara were done yesterday? It's not the case. 11 elims on this game, 123 points. Thunder Talk need to reclaim their position at the top of the tables here, John. But the Wolves are struggling now. They would have loved to have gone a little bit further. GS disengages with Kara whilst they're preoccupied with Zed Wolf. Doesn't matter. Marcel's not done with you yet.
Oh my goodness me. 13 elims found for Kara. It is just, it's not stopping. And there's 10 elims for Ulf. The 2 Wolf logos from Turkey. Look at her try and go head to head, mountain to mountain. Who will be the king of the hill at the end of it, though? Ulf far more central. Alpha 7 with a decent run up, but they're playing as 3, and it's open ground towards Ulf.
It's honestly, I think that the biggest threat here is Alpha 7. And the fact that they could backstab on this one, because I think Ulf's going to be very preoccupied with Kara. But this is where I want to see the follow-through. I need to see the follow-through come through from Ulf here. I really do like this team. I think in the past I was very disappointed with them because I think Scarface is an awesome player, one of the best long-range specialists in the entire game. Aaron's such a cool up-and-comer, very, very skilled. Ketch was MVP multiple times in the past, and you got Solus, who's just been around for donkey's years at this point, all the way back on Digital Athletics. So I think for Ulf, I want to see some follow-through here because I think they found some renewed invigoration over towards PMSL EU. Let's see that continue here.
That's what we're looking for. More survival for Sighting. He is hiding down low behind the bumper of that vehicle.
Surprised he's still here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but Oh, I don't imagine he's getting too much further. I wonder if people know about his position, though. That's what I'm worried about for teams not thinking about a solo on this angle.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hiding from Thunder Talk over the past day, I would say. It felt like there was a sudden change in performance on the Erangel versus OG, where they started just roaming around. The OG were able to take them out. So I'm not sure. I think Thunder Talk, they kind of felt like they'd done enough, and then the gameplay has faltered from there. Coops is able to find sighting on that angle though, and we'll take him down. Now, Alpha 7 is moving up at the same time whilst Kara sends grenades over towards Ulf. So this is a very, very difficult hold for Ulf right now. A battle on two fronts.
7 have made the crash actually up towards this hilltop. A difficult approach, but it's been allowed to go through. Nice opener, but they're still playing as 3. Ulf do have Kara to worry about though. A potential for that one to get a little bit more messy. This south side needs to conclude as well, as nades from Kara make Ulf's life harder on this hold. Revel and Guizhou already up, but Obscure is playing anchor. Scarface wants to stop him from doing just that. There he goes with the blue zone at his back, needs to win that spray trade, forces Scarface off the angle, and can't go down to the blue here. Alpha 7 can't afford to lose it, but they do have their side angle taken out, and now it's just the two of them playing in the rocks, looking for something, but no, one of them pulls, the next not coming through, and the shotgun starts to rain hell from above. Guizhou not done just yet. He drops for a second, but Soulless on the drop spray is able to find it. Ulf lose one in the process, but they take away a major competitor.
It's a quick finish as well. I mean, they needed that over towards Alpha 7. Yes, they lose one player, but they set up the smokes nicely. Ketch has been waiting for this push for the longest of time, but they just had to do it with 3 on that side versus Alpha 7. It was imperative that they finish that fight as quick as possible. But now Wolves have a massive amount of space to play with on this eastern side. They continue to push this in. Obviously, this position on the hillside is very, very strong and will remain strong for the next minute or so. But I do think for Ulf, there needs to be consideration of dealing with Kara soon. I like that Kara have this outpost imposer as well. Pretty much a large high ground, just looking over to where Wolves is playing. What Kara likes to do a lot here, what we've seen a lot of times with them, is get an initial knock onto the other team inside the lobby and then full push on their opponents whilst they know the other team's preoccupied. It's quite a smart maneuver, and it requires you to be very confident in your own gameplay. But Kara right now, that's what they are.
I'm just looking at the utility at the top of the screen there, Blank, and just see how stacked the Wolves are on it. The question is, can they hold out against this high ground for long enough? The high ground will still be in just a little bit. There we go with Batten, finding that opening knock. Playing up on the wall, though, that should be reservable by Coops. I mean, look at the number of smokes they've got. They should be able to play that one. As Marceau does take a tick of damage. Here goes the off angle for Wolves yet again. Trying to strike, but the blue zone will push him off fairly soon.
I think Ulf also understands now there is one player down, potentially time to try and get rid of this thorn in their side. But Kara actually takes a 2-2 on this one. They know they can play this one out slightly slower. The circle is going to pull down over towards Wolves, and I think realistically, if all the players headed over towards this, would be a lot nicer. Yes, they'd have less, but they need money when it's teams coming off from the hillside. You really Wolves 3, it's still doable.
Kara stepping back into the blue and taking a lot of damage for it. CEO and Poser's position now very, very tenuous. Getting around the back of the rock, going to be very, very tricky. They might just have to go for a full crash. They don't have any smoke to cover them either. It's all in the Wolves' pockets. And Ulf as well, just fighting for that second place. It's unfortunate, but we'll see what they can do. Rock's now starting to become a bit of a prison for our teams. As the circle closes, it'll go dead center, Blank, and that's just on the roadside, right in front of the wall doorstep.
Nice
and that's
shots.
what you're looking for. The spray down, Coops and Doran open up the cannons, and there is the backup as well. CEO flushed away, and now it's 2 players for Kara. Looking for Soulless, looking for Aaron, looking to try and stop them from getting anything more done, but no, Kara denied, as it is going to be just 1 player. He hits the deck, Marceau under pressure.
Doran will take down Marceau, and that will leave us down into just the 2 teams. But a great shot from Ketch over towards Doran. The headshot is strong. Now it's just 2 players here, all in the same location. If Ulf can get the smokes down, get up with some utility, potentially there's some good to be done, but only 1 more smoke left in the pocket. No more utility remaining. They have to do it dry here, John.
And they're going to be walking into a wall of grenades as well as bullets as they go on in for the fight. They need to beat, and they are playing house right now, the Wolves. construct a compound for themselves with those emergency cover flares, and there is just nothing that they could do about it. The Wolves, the Battle of the Wolves at the end as well. All of the logos repping the dogs, but it is the US champions to come on through at the end of the match. What a close down for this game.
I mean, actually, the first time we've seen emergency flares being used quite well there in terms of the emergency cover. I don't think we see it used very well a lot of times, but right there, that actually was good. You know, it gave them a lot of angles to play off the back of. I think North America is going to be very happy with the way that one played out. But yeah, really, really well played. I think for the Wolves, there was that slight mistake of taking that off angle on the side. I don't think that was as necessary as they thought it was, particularly with where the circle was ending up. But again, it's hindsight is 2020 in those situations. Still for Kara and Ulf, despite both those teams going down in second and third place, I think they both had like high double-digit games on the elims. So everybody profited there. Everybody profited.
Yeah, those two high grounds were impeccably placed to farm points from the lobby. A brilliant result for the Wolves. And NA, hopes alive? Maybe.
Yep, okay. Emergency cover flares finally being used as they should.
And somewhere out there, a bald eagle sheds a tear of joy, baby. The Wolves get a chicken dinner right when they needed it the most. That was probably one of the best rondos we have seen all tournament long here, Max.
Finally, a non-Eastern rondo finish. Yes,
right?
Finally. And a near stadium finish too, which is always very fun to see. Wolves, very, very early fights they took in Neox Factory, right? Able to hold off that position away from E Arena and actually winning that fight early on. They're moving behind on the eastern side into the city portion of stadium. And as Blank said at the end of that casting there, Niptura, finally using good emergency cover flares, which is so rare to see, it feels like. Finally, yep. Salvation is real. The cover flare meta is now real. Let's go.
Yes, it took them a little bit of time to kind of figure out how to best use them, but it really felt like they got their own. They got into the mojo of things right with this game. Really, really nice cover flares coming on through from lots of different teams as well. So very excited, but man, Wolves finally. We've been wanting to see it all 3 days. We finally see it now, just when they needed it. And honestly, it was a really well played. I mean, okay, it was a little bit messy. It was a little messy, just slightly at the very end there. But the way they held off, the way they were able to just control, and go forward was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, right? Especially because of how great Kara did in this game. With that performance, Max, they gotta top the leaderboards, right?
Kara, genuinely, it's not just their team that's great at team fighting at this point, Hot Jukes. The way they execute fights and rotate to initiate those fights is a thing of absolute beauty. Not what APG did in those replays. That was horrible. That was a horror movie right there. But Kara genuinely have such a good idea of how teams adapt to certain scenarios, and they just try and find the perfect counter to it, especially in that fight versus, I think it was Orangutan and Alpha Gaming fighting in that little container compound. And they just understand instantly the weakness, right, Niptura, of that position, which is, well, you're all going to be very spread if you want to hold down the containers. So guess what? We're just going to fight all your players one by one, use all of the man advantage to successfully take the fight while taking very minimal risk, exactly in the replays here. Kara, this is 10 out of 10 gameplay we've witnessed yesterday and now already in this Rondo game.
Yeah, because we've seen them win games and do really, really well with their edge play strategy, but now we got to see a glimpse of them in their CQC. When they actually try and push somebody, when they try and third party somebody that isn't on the edge, we actually saw what their team synergy is like, and it's really, really good. So it's really nice to see that side of them come to light here in Rondo, and it just works so well in their favor.
man, all the Wolves fans, right? All the Wolves fans for a second, right? They became Kara fans, right? Because Xavier started to push on them, and Kara ended up taking them out, saved them, and then immediately after we're like, okay, Kara, stop, calm down, right? And look at the hype, man. Oh, I love seeing that reaction because I mean, you couldn't have asked for it at a better moment in time. 24 points on the board, but look how stacked this is. You got Ulf with 20, Kara pull up 19, Alpha 7 with 13. This was a wild game, Max.
Yeah, I want to talk about Ulf. Finally, some presence, not just in terms of, oh, we get Central Hilltop and we just wait and get easy top 3, only placement points, no eliminations. No! 6 placement points, 14 bloody eliminations on board for Ulf. This is making me so happy, Nitro, because you said it for Kara, right? You wanted to see them play like they were playing in the past. I wanted the same thing for Ulf, and they finally delivered here on the first game of the day. And it's not too late. Top 7 with games like this is definitely still doable for this squad.
100%, and I feel like they really learned a little bit of a lesson from yesterday's rondo, right? Because they had the high ground, they got sandwiched between 2 different teams, and they went the full-on passive approach. This time, they were not passive at all. They found themselves in the same situation, and they did what they needed to do. So really, really well done to them. As we can also congratulate Doran, because 5 elims, he's going to be the MVP of this match. Love this for him.
We need to let Hodrix pop off here with an MVP of Doran. Go for it, Hodrix.
MVP, let's go, baby. I'll take that all day long. Let's take a look at the leaderboards, though. Kara have now passed up Thunder Talk here, so they are just on a tear at this point. Looking down later on the leaderboards, though, look at that. Ulf